Today's tech news moves fast, but understanding it shouldn't be hard. That's why Snarful Solutions Group brings you Connecting the Dots, where we break down what's happening in tech and why it matters to you. Now, let's dive in with your hosts.
Okay, it's Wednesday, May 28th, 2025. Welcome to Connecting the Dots. I'm Alex.
And I'm Morgan. We're here from Snarful Solutions Group in sunny Sacramento, California.
Yeah, definitely sunny today. High supposed to be around 86 degrees. Quick market check from yesterday, Tuesday, the 27th. Dow closed at 423.43.65.
And the S&P 500 ended at 5921.54.
Right. So today we're going to connect the dots on three big tech stories making waves right now and, figure out what they actually mean for everyday life.
Yeah, we've got some interesting stuff. Apple repairs, some e-commerce shifts in Africa, and a pretty surprising crypto move from a very familiar retailer.
Okay, let's jump right in with Apple. Big news, they're launching their self-service repair program for iPads. Finally, starts tomorrow.
Right. This is the first time iPads have been included, which is, a pretty big deal. It shows they're continuing down this path.
Definitely. So which iPads are covered? It's the iPad Air with the M2 chip or later, the new iPad Pro with M4.
M4, yeah.
iPad Mini with the A17 Pro chip, and the standard iPad, the A16 model.
Okay, so mostly the newer generation stuff.
Yeah. And if you're feeling brave enough to do repair yourself, you can fix the display, battery, camera, and the charging port.
And the key thing, like you said, is access. They're giving access to the manuals, the genuine Apple parts, Apple Diagnostics software for troubleshooting, the actual tools. You can buy them or rent toolkits. It's basically the same stuff their own techs use.
That's pretty comprehensive for DIY. This whole program, remember, it started back in 2022 just for iPhones.
Right. Then they added Macs, MacBooks, the Studio Display.
Exactly. So adding iPads brings the total to 65 different Apple devices?
Wow, 65. That's quite a list.
And they also mentioned it's expanding geographically. Canada gets the program this summer.
Okay, making it country number 34. So it's definitely a global push.
It really seems like they're responding to that whole right to repair pressure, but also maybe seeing a benefit in empowering users.
Well, yeah, maybe cutting down on their own repair center load, too. It's not just for individuals, right? They talked about the distributor program.
Oh, right. The Genuine Parts Distributor Program. That's actually pretty significant for independent repair shops.
It is. Because it means businesses that don't have a direct service contract with Apple can still order the real parts.
Yeah, which could be huge for smaller shops. The distributors they named are Mobile Centrics in the U.S., and then Mobile Centrics again, plus MobileParts.shop over in Europe.
And iPad parts will be available through them starting tomorrow, too. Same day as the self-service launch.
Yep, same day. Now, the missing piece is pricing. Apple hasn't said how much the iPad kits or parts will cost yet.
But we can guess a bit, right? Based on iPhones.
Probably. iPhone batteries were $69 to $119, displays $129, up to maybe $379.
Okay, so iPad parts are probably going to be in that ballpark, maybe even a bit higher, especially for those Pro models.
Yeah, likely. But still, compared to a full Apple repair or replacement cost, doing it yourself, if you have the skills, could save some serious cash.
Definitely. And even if you don't want to fix it yourself, more shops having access to genuine parts, that's just good for everyone. More options, potentially better quality repairs out there.
Exactly. So broader access, more choice. That seems to be the main takeaway for consumers here.
Okay, moving continents now. Let's talk about Jumia in Africa, the big e-commerce player there.
Right. The news is they're bringing more China-based merchants onto their platform.
Which is happening just as they're facing, more competition from Chinese platforms like Temu and Shein, who are making pushes into Africa.
Interesting timing. So is Jumia worried?
Well, the CEO, Francis Dufay, he's publicly saying the African market's big enough for everyone. He doesn't think Temu's entry will really hurt their growth potential that much.
Confident stance. So what's their plan then? Just add more Chinese sellers?
That's part of it. But they're also planning to expand into new cities, reach more rural areas that are underserved.
Okay.
While also, and this is key, continuing to cut costs. They're really focusing on efficiency in operations and logistics.
Makes sense. They've got targets for this year, right? Something about increasing orders.
Yeah, aiming for up to 25% more orders. And they want to narrow their pre-tax loss, get it down to somewhere between $65 and $70 million.
Still a loss, but narrowing it. How many customers do they actually have now? Africa's huge.
It is. Last year, they hit 6 million customers total across 9 countries. That's countries with a combined population of like 600 million, including Nigeria.
Wow, huge potential then.
For sure. But their active quarterly customer base is closer to 2 million. So plenty of room to grow there.
And they've been making changes to get there, haven't they? Like cutting back on some things.
They have. Recent cost-cutting, headcount reductions. They got out of the everyday grocery and food delivery game to really focus back on their core e-commerce.
Right. Doubling down on the main business. It's been a bit of a roller coaster for them since they went public, hasn't it? Listed on the NYSE back in 2019.
Yeah, huge buzz initially. First Africa-focused tech firm to list like that. But then, challenges. Share price ups and downs, pulling out of some markets.
And there was always that discussion about, how African they really were with French founders and non-African leadership initially.
True, though they always emphasize their focus is African consumers, sellers, and employees. That seems to be the core identity now.
So the bigger picture is Africa's e-commerce scene is heating up.
Definitely. Young population, internet access growing, more digital infrastructure investment. It's got massive potential. Jumia still has the biggest customer base compared to other purely African e-commerce companies, but the competition is getting fierce.
So for people living there, this competition, it probably means more choice, maybe better prices.
You'd think so. More sellers, more platforms vying for your business, that usually benefits the consumer. And Jumia's shifting focus to everyday items, not just electronics, might make online shopping more routine.
Interesting. Okay, third story. This one involves a name most people know. GameStop.
Yeah, the video game retailer, they just bought Bitcoin, a lot of it.
Really? How much?
4,710 Bitcoin. Their first time buying BTC for their corporate treasury.
Whoa. Okay, what's that worth? The Bitcoin's been pretty high.
At the time they announced, based on Bitcoin trading around like $108,900. It was worth about $513 million.
$500 million in Bitcoin. Where did they get the cash for that?
Well, back in April, they raised $1.5 billion selling convertible senior notes, zero interest notes due in 2030. And they specifically said that money was potentially for buying Bitcoin.
Ah, okay. So they telegraphed this move a bit. How did the market react? GameStop stock, GME, is always lively.
It jumped up over 5% in pre-market trading right after the news broke.
No surprise there. So is this just a financial play or part of a bigger strategy shift?
It seems like a strategic move to include crypto in their financial planning, maybe trying to capitalize on, the whole digital asset trend.
They're not the first company to put Bitcoin on the balance sheet, are they?
Not at all. They're joining a growing list. Michael Saylor's company, Strategy, is probably the most famous example.
Right, Strategy. Their stock has kind of tracked Bitcoin's price, hasn't it?
Pretty closely, yeah.
Yeah.
It attracted investors who wanted Bitcoin exposure without buying it directly. Maybe GameStop is hoping for a similar effect, especially since...
Well, let's be honest.
Their main business is tough.
Exactly. Selling games and physical stores in the digital age, it's a struggle. So this Bitcoin buy could definitely be a way to boost investor interest, shake things up.
It's interesting timing, too. Didn't Trump Media just announce plans to buy Bitcoin as well?
Yeah, just the day before GameStop's announcement, Trump Media said they want to raise $2.5 billion for crypto purchases. Seems to be a bit of a trend.
Does GameStop even have that kind of cash lying around besides the notes they raised?
They actually have a pretty solid cash position. As of February 1st, they reported about $4.78 billion in cash equivalents, and marketable securities. So the $513 million Bitcoin buy is significant, but not, their entire wad. Okay. Did they say what price they paid per Bitcoin?
Nope. They didn't disclose the average purchase price in their SEC filing, just the total number of Bitcoin.
So what does this mean for, the average person or even GameStop customers?
On a broader level, seeing a traditional retailer like GameStop dive this deep into crypto, it kind of signals more mainstream acceptance, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does feel that way.
As for customers, hard to say yet. Will it change their stores? Probably not immediately. Will they eventually offer crypto payments or something? Maybe. It really just raises questions about where GameStop sees its future. Is it still games, or is it becoming more of an investment vehicle?
It's definitely a space to watch, that intersection of traditional retail, meme stock status, and now crypto.
Absolutely. It highlights how blurry the lines are getting between finance and tech and, everything else.
Okay, so let's quickly recap the big dots we connected today.
All right, first, Apple is making it easier, or at least possible, for people to fix their own iPads starting tomorrow, and also helping independent shops get genuine parts.
Right. Then we looked at Jumia in Africa, adding more Chinese sellers and focusing on efficiency as competition like Temu moves in, which could mean more choice for consumers there.
And finally, GameStop, making a pretty big splash by buying over $500 million worth of Bitcoin for its treasury, signaling a strategic shift in joining other companies betting on digital assets.
Yeah, 3 very different stories, but they all kind of show how technology keeps changing things, how we fix our stuff, how we shop globally, even how companies manage their money.
It's constant evolution, and these are just today's examples. Always something new around the corner.
Absolutely. Well, that's our deep dive for today. Remember, we are here to help here at Snarful, so reach out on our website if you have any more questions.
That's a wrap on today's top stories. Remember, tech doesn't have to be complicated, and we're here to help connect the dots. If you've got questions or want to learn more, visit us at snarful.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.